Welcome to the Lifeforge podcast. This is the March of the Lich King Arena card review. This is ADWCTA. It is getting late. It is almost midnight. I have made a terrible mistake by starting this at the normal time rather than earlier. Not having merps is making this more tiring and is not speeding this up as much as I thought it would, because I still have to read all the cards and there's not merps making me hurry things along. Okay, so we are on to Shaman. Shaman's okay. They got a bunch of okay cards. Nothing super to get excited about, but they're not getting screwed here either. I didn't hit record. We're going back. Welcome to the Lifeforge podcast. This is ADWCTA, and we are doing the March of the Lich King card review, arena card review stream. This is getting very late. It is almost 12 o'clock, and I made a terrible mistake starting this at the normal time. I thought without merps this would go a lot faster, but it's only gone a little bit faster. I don't know. We still have to read all the cards out, and I guess I talk most of the time anyway in our normal card review. Okay, so we're on Shaman. Shaman is it's not bad. It's okay. Like there's a bunch of cards that you can play with it, including some good ones, but it's okay. It's okay. You'll see. You'll see. First card is a common card, and it is Harkener of Dread. This is a B+ card, so pretty good. Pretty good card, almost premium. And it is a 5-mana 2/2 undead with taunt and a death rattle that summons a 6/6 undead with taunt. That's 8/8 of stats for 5 mana with taunt. So that's pretty good. And because they all have taunts, they all kind of link together. You can't just like one thing that you do, like there were these cards like 4 mana 1/1 death rattle summon a 5/5, and that was like okay, maybe like that was like maybe a C tier card. And it was because you could just ignore it, right? And the next turn, the 1/1 has to hit something before the 5/5 comes up, and then the 5/5 at the turn after has to hit something. This gets rid of that problem because everything has taunt. So you have to first get rid of the 2/2, and then you got to get rid of the 6/6. And you can't really do much until you do that. So that's why this is a B+. And that 1/1 death rattle will give you a 5/5 card is like a C. Maybe even a D+. I don't know. I haven't valued it again. That's Harkener of Dread. It also gives you 2 undead bodies for you to do undead shenanigans with. So that's your B+ card. And then you have a bunch of cards that are like around the C level. Let's do the 2 epic cards. The 2 epic cards are both C+, so I'm doing them together. C+ is a little below average in your deck, but it's fine. First one is Scourge Troll. Is a 1-mana 1/3 undead. Death Rattle given to this minion triggers twice. So you have to give a death rattle to this minion, or give a death rattle to all your minions. And Shaman has a couple of these cards, not too much. You'll see they have more in this set. And if it happens here, it gets it twice. That's fine. It's not a particularly big synergy, like a particularly easy to do synergy, but the effect is pretty good. And it's a 1-mana 1/3, right? Everything's a bonus. Also an undead. The other epic card is Blightblood Berserker, which is 8 mana. Again, this is a C+. 8 mana 3/8. Low stats. But it has Taunt, Lifesteal, Reborn, and also Death Rattle, deal 3 damage to a random enemy. So it's got enough to make it a decent card, but it's pretty messy, right? So you think about how Reborn works. Reborn is kind of like a reverse Divine Shield. So it's 3/8 with a Divine Shield. That's like what, like a 3/10, a 3/11. Taunt for 8 mana. That's still not good enough. Lifesteal, okay, still not good enough. All right, well you deal 3 damage to a random enemy twice because it's Reborn at some point. That could be to your opponent's face. You can't control it. Your opponent may control it, but it's like extra stuff. It's fine. right? Like, it's fine. It's super, super annoying. Just remember, the lifesteal also works on the death rattle. Like, it's just, it's fine. And then the whole thing taunts. It's just incredibly annoying, incredibly defensive. It's fine. If you need the health, it's a lifesaver. If you don't need the health, it's fine. All right. Next up, let's talk about Unliving Champion. Unliving Champion is a common Shaman card, 3 mana, 3/2 undead, battle cry. If a friendly undead died after your last turn, summon 2 3/2 zombies. So it's 3 mana for 3 3/2s. But it can only be comboed with one of the undeads dying. So, I mean, you're not going to play it as a 3 mana 3/2. That's super desperate. So it really is just an undead combo card. And it's a C. Because it's a very good undead combo card. 3 mana for 3 3/2s? That's really good. And you are going to have some undeads, and they will die at some point, and then you just got to play this card afterwards. But, again, I wouldn't say like situational for these undead synergies. I would say more like you're forced to play it on turns where it may not be mana efficient for you to be forced to play this card, and yet you still have to. Like, it's very annoying. But the power is there, and the inevitability that at some point one of your undeads is going to be played and be dead. It'll be interesting to see how annoying these cards are in the arena to actually play and get triggered off of. But we have it as a C, because the ability is very powerful, and the trigger is not that hard to fulfill. All right. Let's do Prescience. This one's a rare Shaman spell, 4 mana shadow spell. Draw 2 minions. For each that costs 5 or more, summon a 2/3 spirit with taunt. This one ends up being a C. 4 mana draw 2 minions is awful. But if you can summon even 1 2/3 spirit with taunts, it is amazing. Because then you've just spent like 2 extra mana to draw 2 minions, right? And that's good. So it's just when you draw 2 cards, what are the odds of getting a 5 mana minion or more? And so we worked out the numbers. It's fine. This one ends up being a C. All right, let's talk about Death Weaver Aura. 2 mana shadow spell, common. Give a minion Death Rattle. Summon 2 3/2 zombies. Overload 1. So it's 2 mana, and you get 2 3. Sorry, it's 3 mana basically because it overloads 1, and you get 2 3/2 zombies. That's worth it for 3 mana, but you have to have a friendly minion, and it's all delayed because it has to die. So it ends up being an 8. Ends up being a D. Having to put it on a friendly minion and one that dies, so like probably not like a totem or something, and then you get your 3/2 zombie later unless it can die on this turn. And it's not a curve card. All hurts it. Then we have Shadow Suffusion. Shadow Suffusion is a rare spell, 3 mana shadow. Give your minions Death Rattle, deal 3 damage to a random enemy. This one's D. Death Rattle, deal 3 damage to a random enemy is not that good. It can go face. You don't always control it because your opponent can like, let's say, clear its board and then finish the last guy on the guy that you have with this buffed. But you're putting it on all your minions, including minions you play on this turn. So for 3 mana, you actually get like a decent amount of stuff. So even though the stuff is not good and it's very random, you get so much of it that it's not like a totally undraftable card. It's still not good, but it ends up being a D. Just the 3 damage to random enemy rather than random enemy minion is a tough pill to swallow. But hey, you're a shaman, you can have a large board, and at a certain point it's going to be worth it. Finally, the last non-legendary card is a basically unplayable card. It is From the Other Side. 10 mana, shadow spell. Summon a copy of each minion in your hand. They attack random enemy minions, then die. So unless you have some Death Rattle synergies going on, or Reborn synergies going on, this is just a weird removal spell for 10 mana. It doesn't guarantee that it removes all your opponent's minions. In fact, depending on what's in your hand, and remember, Shaman has draw issues for the most part. You're going to run out of cards at some point. It may not even deal all that much damage. And it's 10 mana. Like, this is an unplayable card in the arena. It is an F. Okay, so that's Shaman. Like, it functions. It's weird, but it functions. I don't know. The interesting cards are less good than the not interesting cards for Shaman. I'm not too excited about this overall, but we'll see. There's enough interesting things in here that if I'm forced to draft it and do stuff with it, it could be interesting. But it all feels kind of like slow and grindy to me. Alright, let's look at the legendary cards. First legendary cards, Rotgil. Rotgil is a 5 mana 3/6 undead Murloc. Battlecry, give your other minions Death Rattle, give your minions +1/+1. Okay, break this down. 5 mana for a 3/6. That should be 4 mana. So, you better get your other minions this ability. What happens if you give some of your other minions this ability? Well, it's 5 mana. You're probably not going to be able to play more than one minion with this guy to give this ability to. So any other ones have to be survivors from prior turns. How many survive? Probably not that much. Now, once you give these minions stuff, it has Death Rattle, give your minions +1/+1. So you can't trigger this ability immediately. Instead, you have to wait. Your opponent can then clear your board and then start triggering this ability so that it doesn't have as much effect, if any effect. Or, if your opponent doesn't trigger it, then the next turn, you can actually kill off stuff, maybe, and while filling the board, and then you'll get a good buff. It's a lot of ifs. It's a lot of ifs. It ends up being a B, because the upside is really big, actually. If you can give some of your minions +1/+1, like multiple times, that becomes unstoppable, right? Like you have totems, you can fill up the board. Like your opponent needs to take care of this if you can hit a board with it. Not even a very large board, but like some kind of board. But oftentimes, not most of the time, your opponent can either prevent you from ever getting the board that you need to play this card, and then it's kind of a dead card. Or your opponent will be able to kill everything the turn after that in a way that doesn't give these Death Rattles significant runway and effect. So overall, it is a B. It is a good card. You want it, but it's a risky play. I mean, it's not that risky. You always get at least a 4-drop out of it, and your opponent will scramble to do stuff afterwards, right? And that has value in and of itself. But it's just, you're not going to get B value out of it all that often. You're either going to get like D value, or you're going to get like A+ value, depending on what you have and what your opponent has. Next legendary is Overlord Draku. Overlord Draku is an S tier card. This is your last S tier card of the set. It is legendary, it is S tier, and you will see why it is S tier once I redo the ability, because this is bullshit. This is just totally ridiculous. I don't know what they were thinking of. It destroys Arena. It is a 9 mana 6/8 card with Rush and Wind Fury. So it will hit twice when it comes out. 9 mana, 6/8. Rush and Wind Fury. 8 health. It will Wind Fury. Unless there's a giant taunt in the way. Its ability is this. After this attacks and kills a minion, it has 6 attack. It's going to kill the minion. Resurrected on your side. So it's dealing 6 damage twice right off the bat, and you're getting whatever the hell you're killing. And this could live too. This may not be dead at the end of this, and it could like kill more stuff and resurrect more things. Or it could just go face twice and deal 12 damage the next turn. Like, this card is absurdly good. in every situation. It's an S tier card. It's not more than an S tier card. It is limited in what it can do, right? It can only give you 2 more other minions and remove 2 things and still exist. Is that a lot? Yeah, but it's also 9 mana. It should get a lot. Not that much, but it should already get a lot. So it's not like an S plus tier card or anything. It's definitely not like an S plus plus tier card. You start comparing this to like the colossal stuff, this is gonna lose out. But it's still an S tier card. Super good. Alright. That's Shaman. Like, it's a package, it's doing stuff, but the package is not good enough. I don't know. Maybe it'll come together, but I don't think so. I think this is going to be one of those things that is just kind of not good enough for you to draft enough of it for all the death rattle-y things to work out, and then you just end up with some like undead synergies here or there, some individually powerful cards. Like Harkener of Dread is just 2 undead bodies in a good stat way, right? Like, this is your best card, and that's what it's doing. Now, having a good undead body is like Druid has one too in that 1-drop. That's a good thing in and of itself, right? Because that can start other synergies, even if they're neutral synergies and not synergies that your class has with the undead. But you kind of have to piece it together. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. We'll see. This is Shaman. I'm ADWCTA. I'll see you in the next one. We got 2 more classes to go through, Warlock and Warrior, and then we are done for the night. See you guys on the other side.